So I'm going to share my screen, maybe. Let's see. All right, awesome. Let's see. Okay, so if you see my screen, give me a thumbs up so I know that awesome, great, thanks guys. So as Connie said, my name's Cari Kennedy. I am a learning specialist at TIE, and one of the things that I love the most is integrating technology in the classroom. I was a middle school math and science teacher for 14 years before I decided to get my master's degree in instructional technology through App State. And then I loved it so much, I decided to write a dissertation on it and get an EDD. So one of the things that I really loved in my classroom was using learning menus or choice boards. They're pretty much the same thing, dependent on what you want to call them. So last year, I worked at a middle school, and my classroom was a blended learning class, and I struggled a little bit with it because I just wasn't sure how to meet the needs of all of my students until I learned how to really incorporate a choice board or a learning board. And these changed the way I taught. They changed everything. And now with the COVID-19 and distance learning, we can amp these up. And today when Jason Berg was talking about how, you know, what's the biggest bang for your buck? What are you trying to assess your students on? And are we worried about assessments, or are we worried about what they've learned? Choice boards really give that opportunity for students to give you a product on what you've learned. What have the students learned? And they can, and so you can give them the choice to show you what they've learned rather than taking a multiple choice test. That we know, like, if you know they're playing Kahoot or quizzes, their computer can get locked down, but they could still have a device right next to them. Choice boards are going to give you that option to really expand their knowledge and give them that product. So I've created, and everyone will have access to these resources on that page on the website, but I've created an infographic, and this infographic does have other links within it, so I'll be kind of going in and out of links. But we're going to talk about 3 ways to incorporate learning menus to maximize learner agency, students taking control of what they are learning. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was learning menus or choice boards. And they are a form of differentiated learning that gives students a menu or a choice of learning activities. So you have 2 different kinds. You have the simple kind, and then you have the more complex kind. And a simple kind is just simply a list. It's a list of specific choices that students can choose from. So it doesn't have to be crazy, beautiful, pretty. It can simply be a list. And then you have your more complex ones. Complex ones are often embedded into learning management systems. And this is where students can earn points dependent on their interest, the level and ability of the student, the level and ability of the task. And I'm going to show you different examples and give you templates to be able to create all of these types of things. So 3 different ways that we can incorporate choice into our classroom. The first one are interactive choice boards. So these are choice boards. There's lists, then we're going to amp them up a little bit. But the first one is a simple 1-3-5. So when you go to a 1-3-5, and I already have it pulled up. I don't need it to go there. And this is an example, and it's a template. It's a Google slide. So you will have access to this, and you can make it yourself. You can take it and make it your own. When you have these on here, you list your tasks. These are your 1-point tasks. These are your 2-point tasks. These are your 3-point tasks, and these are your 5-point tasks. And then you tell your students, hey, you guys need to get 12 points. I don't care how you get them. You just have to get them. And then as teachers, we strategically think, okay, so my 1-pointers, these are my bottom level of blooms. These are the ones that they're the basic knowledge that the students need to know. So I'm going to put my 1-pointers here. Well, you're not going to put 12 choices here, so they're going to have to go do some of the 3 and the 5. So you put a couple choices here for your 1s. Your 3s are going to go up on the Bloom's level, and they're going to be a little bit more intense. Maybe they're going to ask some more deeper questions. And then your 5-point ones can be even deeper. Your critical thinking, your top of your Blooms. You can change how many points you want. I will give you an example. If we go back to our infographic, we have the 258. Last year when I was teaching 7th graders, I used what I call the power triangle, or the 2-5, or it was a 2-3-4, 2-5-8. You to determine what the points are that you want. But I gave every week my students what I called the power triangle. So again, you have access to edit this and copy it, or copy it and then edit it. And what I did is I gave my students their activities on Monday for the week and said, okay, guys, here's your power triangle. This is how many points you need. So my first class, this was more my advanced class, and I think this was a short week, but I told them they had to get 9 points. My middle class of the day, this was where I had most of my SPED students, so they had to get 6. There were certain students that I would say, hey, I would like you to get 9, or maybe I'd like you to get 8. Maybe there were students that had some cognitive disabilities that I really just needed to get 5. Those students, I would go talk to personally and say, hey, so you guys need like 5 points this week. And nobody ever knew except me and maybe my SPED teacher. And then my last class, they had to get 7 points. If it was a paper assignment, they had to turn it in to me. If it was a electronic assignment, it would have come to either my Canvas account or my GoFormative account. So you can see here, I have all of their assignments. They choose which ones they want to do. And then on the slides following, this is where the directions were. Now, had I thought, in a perfect world, had I thought about this, I could have linked each slide here, but this was done last year, so I didn't think about it until just a little bit ago. But the students could go to the slides and say, okay, so these are my 1-point assignments. I had these already in my classroom. They could choose to do a maze. They could choose to do a GoFormative. I was assessing the same thing. It didn't matter what they chose. I had students who didn't really particularly care to be on the computer. So if they didn't want to be on the computer, if they were tactile and they wanted to do a maze, they could do a maze. Ryan or Connie, are there any questions at this point?
Nope, not yet.
Okay. All right. So going back to our infographic, that's the 135 or the 258. A vocabulary, let's go here, a vocabulary choice board. So this is not something that I made. This is something that I found. And this is a choice board template for vocabulary. They put it in. They also linked it to every slide in the slideshow. And then the kids had directions that say choose 3 in a row of the activities below, drag the X over the box you want to complete. So when they turned it in my imagination is they turned it in through Google Classroom or Canvas. When they turned it in, they moved the X's so that their teacher knew which slides to go and visit. The slides here, this is one where they had to add 3 vocabulary terms, put in a picture, a definition, all different types of slides for all different types of students. So they got to choose what they wanted to do, still assessing what they wanted. So this is a template for vocabulary. Bingo, everybody's favorite game, right? This is a beautiful, beautiful bingo game that an art teacher has made. So they had plans to return to school on May 4th. That may or may not have happened depending on where this was in California, so that did not happen. This is a partner school that we have in Lindsay. So this art teacher made a choice board for her students, gave them instructions that they had to complete 1 project per week or more, and then post images of their work in their Padlet art gallery. So here maybe not necessarily a bingo, but it's set up like a bingo board. They got to choose different art projects. Again, assessing the same thing, giving them the option to do what they want. And so like for the make a mask, Monica has directions for create a mask. For pop art, there's directions for pop art, dependent on what you want. You can set up a bingo board and then you can tell them, make bingo. I don't care which way you do it. You can do it 5 across, 5 in the 5 diagonal, or 5 the other one that I can't seem to remember, horizontal, diagonal, or vertical. So and then the free choice, design your own art project. How cool is that? Like, yeah, if you're an art person. Now me, I would struggle on that because I would be like, I have no idea what to do, but I'm just not artistic. So this is how she made her art choice. She didn't have to have class every week. She did a lot of check-ins. So she would check in with her students, and if they had questions, then she would talk to them about it, but she gave so many choices that they can do it when they want to. The other thing that's great about choice boards now and in your classroom is you always have students who either finish really early or want more work. So I have a first grader at home, and she's definitely bored, and she's asked for more work. Well, I have access to all these choice boards right now, so I'm going and stealing lots of different things for her. But do you have students who are like, oh, I wish I need more work? I know that sounds weird, but there are students out there who are like, I really, really would like something else to do. Choice boards gives them that opportunity. It lets students still work at their own pace, and lower level students or students who are just getting by, they can still do what they need to do. But then those higher level students who need more, you can add enrichment for them. So this is my wonderful art board that I think is amazing, and I actually have used a couple of these things with my own kids. And then there's your Tic Tac Toe board. So Tic Tac Toe boards are really easy. This is a template, and honestly, all you do is you put in your tasks. So like I said, this is the template that you can use, but I have a website, and this is a s'more, and I did not make this. I use it for some examples, but here is an example of a Tic Tac Toe board where you could tell them you can complete 3 in a row in a column, a row, or a diagonal, and just make sure you do your best work. The thing about Tic Tac Toe boards is it gives you that opportunity to really look at different learning modalities and make sure that every student is getting what they need. So let me find this. So you can make sure, am I muted? Ryan, can you hear me? My computer just said I was muted. Okay. You can make sure that all your students' tasks are set up. Like you can have several interpersonal, you can have a verbal, you can have a logical. That way your students are getting what they need from your choice boards.
I had a quick question, Cari.
Yeah.
Tara asked, are the choices graded for completion, or are you giving a threshold where you would award or deny the points?
So when I did my, like these types of assignments, there's a lot of assignments here, and I'll be honest, I had a rubric and I would pick and choose what I wanted to grade. They didn't know what I was going to grade, but if they're like, for the 1 point assignments, if there was something here, like if they chose 2, I probably would grade 1 of them. I didn't grade every single assignment. I pick and chose what I was grading. When it came down to like the 3 and 4 point assignments, these were worth more points. I did have a rubric for that. And it's the same type of situation with these other types. So I highly recommend rubrics when giving assignments on choice boards. 1, the students will know what you are expecting of them, and 2, it makes your life so much easier to grade. So that's how I would do it. Right now with COVID-19, it depends on how your district is handling things, if you're grading for completion or if you're grading for pass or fail. Anything else, Ryan? Okay.
Nope.
Oh, go ahead.
Nope, that was it.
Okay. So like I said, with tic-tac-toe, it's really up to you how you really want to do it. These are some science ones that people have made. These are not templates, but they're great activities that you can kind of jump off of if you wanted to look for them. There's a skeletal system one, and this one just says select 3 activities. You don't have to make it a tic-tac-toe. Some teachers just want their kids to choose 3 different activities. This goes back to Jason saying, what is the biggest bang for your buck? Make sure you're organizing your choice board so that they are providing you a product that you can assess their knowledge from. Because what's the point of doing this if you can't assess their knowledge? Which is why I used rubrics. And apparently my voice is going to go eventually today. I sound like a teenager. All right, so going back to, so these are our basic choice boards. These were very basic, super easy, and there's templates there for all of you to have. Now we're gonna go into like some digital menus. Now these are a little bit more intense and they require a little bit more work, but I use them a lot. I think that they're really great. So food menus. I'm going to go back to this and talk about food menus. So here you can see this is just a basic list and they set it up like a menu. Okay, you've got appetizers. Those are your negotiables. Maybe you give them a list and tell them that you only want to complete 1 assignment. Then they have the main dish. Those are those must-dos, those imperatives. Then they have the side dishes. Again, some negotiables. What do you want them to work on? And then desserts. Those are those optional but irresistible assignments or projects. They should be of high interest and challenging. And then you have them choose 1. And this could be your enrichment. This could be for your to increase enrichment with your higher level students, or maybe some of your lower level students too. So setting up a menu, you can do it like this. There's also some here that you have a reading log and response menu. So they did appetizers, main courses, and desserts. They just said choose 1. 1 appetizer, 1 main course, 1 dessert. And then you turn it in. This one, I was a math teacher, so this was pretty cool to solve 2 problems from each column and write your answer inside the box, put the X in the box that you do not answer. And so they did drinks, appetizers, main course, and dessert. They're still assessing the same way. They're just having them do it in with different options. And then we talked a little bit more about tic-tac-toe boards, so there's some more of those. That's your
question, Cari.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tracy wants to know, does this translate easily to a non-digital format? My kids have no access to technology, both in school and during distance learning.
Absolutely. So you can do these on paper. You do not have to have these on digital format. You could easily make a tic-tac-toe board. So Tracy, I could go back to this. And like I said, everything that I have here, all these templates, they're all linked within the my resources on my resource page. But you could easily take this, Tracy. You could make this so that it is not a digital. Copy it, put in the activities that you want your students to do, put in the directions that you want your students to see, and then hand it out. It's absolutely, you can translate it into non-digital. Many of these are. Same thing with the menus. You can do it. It just depends on the activities that you want them to do. That's the beauty of these. All right, so going back here, we had our regular food menus. We've got our appetizers, desserts. Well, if you want to take it up a notch, this one is digital. This one would not do well as a pen and paper activity. but this is, where are we? Nope, not that one. This is the digital menu. And I love this, but this is intense. This is a great activity that Tom Spall has come up with. He's the creator, not me. However, I have used this before. So you can easily make a copy of this and edit it. Remember, if you are not a Google aficionado, if you want something like this, you want to go to File, and if you are logged into Google, you can make a copy. If you are not logged into Google, you can download it, and you can download it into a PowerPoint, and it should transfer somewhat correctly. So just in case you aren't a Google person, which not everybody is, you would just go to File, Download, and make it a PowerPoint if you're a Microsoft person. So anyway, this whole menu is linked. It's a huge project, and you could easily take links out, put links in, and do different things. But if I scroll through here, there's a Google slide. So this is where they have to make a Google slide on their presentation. There's a Google Drawings, like a poster, Google Documents, and all of these are linked to each individual slide. So here they're talking about book trailers. They want you to do a main creation. So you pick one, and then appetizers, you pick one. And there would be way more instruction on this because you would be giving the instruction and you would choose the project that you want to do for this. And then they already set a Flipgrid or a Padlet up for student responses. They have slides that the teacher leads. And then you have the non-digital part right here, but this is a ginormous project. You would choose one of each of these and have your students do them. But you could easily take out parts. If you only wanted to give 2 or 3 of those choices, it's an easy thing to do. You just delete it. You just go in, you make a copy of this on your own, and you just delete the parts you want to delete out. And again, if you want to make a copy, you just go to File and then make a copy, and it will copy it into your Google account. And if you're not sure about the Google account, just go to Download and open it in a PowerPoint, and you'll be able to do it. This is pretty hefty, not going to lie to you. When I said take it up a notch, I meant take it up a notch. And then we have your basic menus. So these were our food ones, which were fun, especially for my middle schoolers because they love food. But then we have our basic menus. And so basic menus, I really like these. These I found online. And these are some intermediate writing, math, reading choice words. So they made these, and again, not me. I'm taking what other teachers have shared to share with you, but they have made it for their students. And you could easily make this non-tech, but they've told where they want to read. Then they have done links to MobyMax because their school has an account with MobyMax. They've put in more things for reading, and then some work that they want their students doing from books that they use. You could easily switch this up to make it work for you, and then give them, say, I want you to do 2 in the pink, 2 in the gray, 2 in the yellow, and 2 in the green. You can take out rows if you like, because if I scroll all the way down here, here are the templates. So this is like for a whole elementary school type situation where readings, writings, math, there's even some chores on there if you want to do this for your kids. Ryan, I know you're at home with your kiddos. Throw some chores in there, do a little creative play, make your bed, types of situations. So these templates are great. And they also include writing prompts if you want some. There's some summertime choices as we're adding to the summertime choices. I know mom and dad probably would not care if you gave the kids some chores to do for them. And then there's also some here on math. So the math is a lot more, in this example, it's a lot more links. because they don't have the worksheets at home. But you could easily, if you were in the class or if you were giving packets out, like my kids, their school is giving out packets, they could easily do this. All right, so those are your basics. So that's where we're at here. And then we go to the and more. So this is a math one, and you guys, I was a math teacher, so I really, really like these. But here are some math, and these are for grades 6, 7, and 8, I believe. And I'm going to show you where you can get 3, 4, and 5, and K1, 2, because I have those also. But these are just examples. But here are ones. So what they do, these are created by Chelsea McClellan, and you have full permission to make copies of these slides and edit as you see fit. What I love about these and what I love about Chelsea is, so this is grade 8, she's put the standard, she's taken the problems, and she's put different types of problems on there. She's got visuals. Here she's talking about a couple different more standards, and then up here she's got her more standards. If you look down here, and I purposely kept this up, but it says row 1 are problems taken from open middle. So like I was talking to my friend Amy yesterday when I was showing her these, and she was like, Cari, how did they make all those little boxes and those fractions and be perfect? Because I would go crazy trying to do that. And I said, oh, Amy, it's a picture. So if I click on it, they took a picture of it. So what she did is she went to open middle, and all her links are in the notes, but she took a picture of this and she put it on there. Don't try and go crazy trying to put exponents with little squares into Google Slides, because you will go insane. These are all pictures. Now, she also gave some solutions, which is really nice. If you, like, how would your students give you their answers back? Well, obviously they're not going to be able to write in here. You could make text boxes and you could put so that they can put it in there, but that gets a little bit wonky. You can use Cami. That can be a little bit wonky, especially if you haven't taught them how to do those things yet. So have them take a picture and send it to you via your learning management system. Have them do the problems on paper, have them take a picture, send it to you via Google Classroom, Canvas, Schoology, whichever one you use. That would be my recommendation for that, especially on things like this. You choose if you want them to do them all or if you want them to do just 2 a day. It's you're assessing the same type of thing. So that is the and more. Open Middle is great if you're interested in it. It has some really great resources, and that's where she got, and it's middle school, but that's where she got all of these from. Going back to our picture chart, the last thing I want to talk about is HyperDocs. So I have to tell you that when I put this together last week, I go to a website for HyperDocs called HyperDocs.co. So put everything together. I was super excited, happy, pleasantly going the way I wanted it to. Yesterday, I was going over this. So HyperDocs.co is changing their website. And so all the links that I had on here, they didn't work yesterday. And I was like, okay, so plan B. I do have links that work now, but there is one link on here that doesn't work. And I'm going to tell you right here, this Teachers Give Teachers, unless it started working this morning. When you click this, it says, sorry, this page you are looking for could not be found. Well, Cari, why would you leave that? Well, I left that because it's coming back. I've been told by the people it's coming back, and it's an amazing website, and I want you to have access to it. They're just not up yet. So that's why it's there. So don't think I'm crazy leaving non-interactive links. Don't tell my boss that I'm leaving non-interactive links on there. I promise you it's coming back. I would never do that to you. That's why I checked everything yesterday. So let's talk about HyperDocs. HyperDocs are wonderful documents that we at TIE use all of the time. They're documents that you're going to use and put links in so that your students aren't sitting there trying to put in links and then raising their hand and being like, Miss Cari, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So you don't want to do that. So HyperDoc is more than that too, though, because you can incorporate tasks. You can make these choice boards, but you are going to put in HyperDocs on them or hyperlinks so that your students have places to go. You can do so many things with HyperDocs, scavenger hunts, task management skills. Oh, they're so much fun. So if you look over here, they talk about how this allows for students to collaborate. If you're using Google Docs, they can collaborate on a HyperDoc together. I'm going to show you some that are really great. You can create things within the doc, or you can have them show what they know. The key piece of a quality HyperDoc is that students reflect upon their learning and engage in the process. So that's one of the biggest things about HyperDocs, and what our friends at HyperDocs Co, which is going to work, really talk about. There's 7 really main parts of a HyperDoc that you want to make sure that you're hitting. And you don't have to have all 7 in one, but you want to make sure you have some in there. So there's the engage. You want to get your kids engaged. Very first thing they do. Set that HyperDoc up and give them the most engaging, like, yes, I can't wait to do this project. You're going to have them explore, and then you're going to have them explain and apply. And then there's ways for them to share out. Oh my gosh, the ways that they can share out now. And you guys are figuring them all out too, because you're on Screencastify and Flipgrid and all these awesome resources. And then you can have them reflect, which is an important process too, for adults and for students. And then you can also provide extensions. So if I scroll down this, and this is just a web page. This is not the web page I was going to give you, but this is a web page. And it talks about how to set a HyperDoc up. So you want to make tables. Tables are the best way to go. And if you come to my session this afternoon, I have a HyperDoc for you that I have made. So again, you're getting your students to engage, and then you color code as you go down, and you make sure that they're meeting all of those abilities. And then you can set them up in different ways too. So when I do sessions for TIE, often I use just a couple of these, and then I put tasks on this side. So maybe I'm having them explore different technologies, and then their task I put on the instructions over on this side. And then maybe I want them to explain something, and then I put their task. So you can make it very, very easy for students to use. A couple great examples are listed right here. So if I click on animal habitats, here's a HyperDoc that's already made. This is for first grade. So here's her engage. Oops. So what is a habitat? Exploring habitats. They have something to click on right away, and then they can type, if you want them to, within here, so that they can they can turn this back into you. Now I don't have edit access. I would just make a copy of this, just like you would. You would just go File, make a copy, or download in a Word, whichever you like, and then pass it out to your students. They have videos embedded in here, 3 things you discovered, and 2 interesting facts, 1 question you still have. And then here's that extension part. Okay, they're done. Some kids are like, I'm checked out, I am done. And some kids are like, I really want to know more. I love animals. Okay, great. Here's 3 websites that you could go to. I'm not going to assess you on it. These are just extra things that you could do. So this is a great example of an elementary level HyperDoc. There is a 3rd grade, and then let's check out the 8th grade Civil War one. So he has an epic HyperDoc. They've got their learning targets. a little bit of Avengers in there, trying to relate to the kids. And then they put in here, okay, so for Discover, I want you to watch this movie. For Explore, this is what I need you to do. And they give instructions. I want you to put this into your drive. And so his is not completely exactly like the other ones, which is fine. You can do it how you want to do it. Wonder and wow. I like that. Learn. Some review. And then, of course, the kids would have their own copy of this, and then they're typing it in. These are great for right now if your kids have access to the internet. And then share, and then here's that connect and extend that's so important, especially if you're not able to be there with them and have the conversations. And then the last thing I wanted to show you, and I already have it pulled up because it takes a while to pull up. I'm going to explain, well, I think it's great to have this, but I wanted to give you a different resource, but it's the Teachers Give Teachers resource, and it's not available. So this Padlet right here, I think it is this, and it's available right off of this page. This has, it's called the Ditch Book with the HyperDocs Better Together Sharing Extravaganza. So this was created with the HyperDoc Co and Teachers Give Teachers. So there are like tons and tons of HyperDocs listed here, more than I could ever look for. It's even a little overwhelming for me, but because their website is not up right now, and it will be coming up, but because it isn't up and we're in this situation, and you might want an example of a HyperDoc, I wanted to list this Padlet for you. It is on this website that I gave to you, but it's also with this examples. I don't want you to think that this isn't going to work. So let me talk a few seconds about Teachers Give Teachers. Teachers Gives Teachers is with HyperDoc Co. It's not Teachers Pay Teachers, it's Teachers Give Teachers. And it's a database, and it has HyperDocs that teachers have uploaded into it. And you can search for your grade level, for different content, for all sorts of things within this database. It's phenomenal. And if I could show it to you, I would, but I can't. And it will give you templates for HyperDocs dependent on your content. I tweeted them yesterday. Their website says it's coming back, not to worry. They're restructuring their website. They're going to charge for some things. They are not charging for Teachers Give Teachers, which is fine. That's what I use their website for. But it's a great resource. It will be back. Please check it out when you're looking for HyperDocs when they put their website back. And then the last one is there are templates available on the HyperDocs.co website. So when I clicked that, it took me, when I said create a HyperDoc, it will take you to where there already are some downloads. So if you don't want to start from scratch, this is great. There's a creative writing one. You can just click download. Well, it worked last night. Let's try again. There it goes. They're completely redoing their whole website. So don't worry, if something happens, it will come back. But they have the basic HyperDoc lesson plan template. You can take their template. It automatically makes a copy for you, and then you can go in and you can put in what you want. So that is HyperDocs in a nutshell, which are some of my very, very favorite. Oh, actually, you know what? It didn't make it. You have to make your own copy. I lied. So you hit make a copy. I thought it force copied it. You hit make a copy, and then you can go in and edit whatever you like. The last thing I want to show you today, and then if you have questions, now that it'll be a great time. At the very end, it said more choice. Are you still looking for choice boards that suit your needs? So there's lots more templates and options out there. If you click right here, like this whole box, it's going to take you to the Wakelet that learning specialists have put together on our board. And through here, not only the ones that I showed you today, but more than that are in this wakelet. And they are listed all throughout. Again, you can make copies of them. You can make them your own, but this will give you even more than what I showed you today.
Hey, Cari.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give you your 10-minute warning, and then I've had a couple people ask questions if they'll have a copy of your presentation.
So on the website, where the schedule is and everything, I believe all of my stuff, if you go to the schedule and if you click my name, here is today's session and here are the resources. So if you click on that link right there, and Ryan, if you want to put that in the chat box so people can just grab it, you're more than welcome to. But that is the resources for this session. And you can get anybody's resources by doing that and going to the schedule and clicking on their name. And then we all have our resources linked. So what this will do, that will take you to my picture chart. So all of my resources are linked in there. So when you scroll over these words, that's how you get to the links that are within there. So every word is linked to all of the resources that I have shown you guys today. And then for the last one, for that wakelet, because this wasn't just a word, it was a whole sentence, and that's right there. But everyone should have access to this, yes. And that's all I really have, but I'd be glad to answer questions, share anything, talk about how I used choice boards with my students. We have just a little bit left, so I want to open up the table for questions. You can download, I just opened up the chat, right? You can download the picture chart. All you have to do, that's a good question. I go here, I will download it and I will put it on my resources. I will download it right after this because I can download it, and then once I download it, the links are not available. The links are only available on the website version. The links are not available on the downloaded version, but I will download it and put it on my resources for you. You're welcome, Lisa. I hope that you get some great stuff from it. Thank you, Amanda. I'm so glad. Oh, awesome. I'm so glad. And please email me. If you guys have questions, just tell me and I would be glad to help. I love learning menus and I love choice. And so I want to help as much as I can, especially right now. I know how hard this is. It's great to have a place to start, Jennifer. Remember to tweet Ty20. My Twitter's down here too. You can tweet out. I love being tweeted at. Oh, I'm so glad, you guys. This is great. Yes, absolutely. Oh, yay, Kylie. I hope you have great sessions today. I hope that you have just a wonderful day. We are so excited to be able to bring you this. The document is created, so there is a wakelet that has all of these links. It's right here under the more choice. All of those links are in one document. They're in the wakelet. Oh, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it.